All right, guys, so time for a midday market recap. We're going to go over the trades from today. Here we are, Tuesday, January 17th, and I'm finishing the day up 51% on my small account. I started the morning with $4,501 of total equity, and I'm up $2,310.09. So today's a great day, up 51%. I mean, it's ridiculous. Tomorrow I'll open the account close to 6,800 and I'm, working my way right up. So I'm 6.8% of the way to 100,000, which, is good. I'm well on the way, but still I need to keep this up. You know what I mean? Like when you think of it like that, I'm this far to here. So I've got a ways to go. But I'm, about, more than 20% of the way, 25% of the way to my $25,000 first target. That's my first target because once I get there, I can switch my account back to Speed Trader. I get the advantage of going back to a lower commission rate and, trading in a firm where my money's here, it's in the United States. I'm more comfortable having a large account there and, really building up that cash, the equity balance. All right, so this again is a great day. I'll show you guys. Those of you who are watching screen share right now, you can see my P&L. This is from that I posted on StockTwits. So $2,310. This is here over on my live account, which you can see there with the time going. All right, so like I said, a solid start to the week. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than 51% in a single day. So definitely a good start. So let's talk about the stocks that I traded today. Now, when I first got started this morning, I really wasn't really crazy about anything. I didn't think today was going to be a great day. And because this is my 10th consecutive green day, I was this morning feeling nervous. Even yesterday, I was feeling nervous. I was like, I think I'm going to have a red day tomorrow. I just feel like I'm going to have a red day. It's just, 9 consecutive green days. It just feels like the red day is coming. Granted, last year I had a 58 consecutive green day streak. So it's not to say I haven't had long streaks of just green days, but it's not just that. It's also that I think on Friday I had my 29th consecutive winning trade. Now I can't even remember where I'm at. Let's see if I wrote it down. Yeah, I think it was my 29th consecutive winner was on Friday. And today I took I took 4 trades on BNTC, 1 trade on GLBS, and 1 trade on PTX, and they were all winners. So now I'm on my 35th consecutive winning trade. I mean, something's got to give. How long can I keep up this hot streak? The pressure is almost unbearable. But, this is, for me, the result of being very disciplined about what I'm willing to trade. Also, for what it's worth, I was down $4,000 in my Speed Trader account this morning, and I held through that until it went to being a winner. So, I guess I'm getting my share of stressful trades over in my regular account while I focus primarily on the small account. So I'll walk you through the trades I took today, the one that got me down on the regular account and then came back up, and how I was able to make 51% in one day. All right, so the watch list this morning, I'll pull up trade ideas here. As I said, this morning there wasn't anything I was super crazy about. I was kind of like, I don't know, there might be a couple gappers, but a lot of the stocks on my watch list I just didn't feel super confident in. So I'll pull up the scan here. This is exactly what I was looking at 9:20. So I'll show you this so you guys can see it. So that's the scanner as of 9:20. So we had CEMI at the top, FWP. Those are both a little more expensive. BCEI, $2.75. So that's good. But then you've got the float here of 49 million shares. So the float's a little too heavy. And then we've got BVXV. This one was one that we've traded a couple times, but my issue with BVXV was the fact that the daily chart's kind of a mess. So let me show you guys the daily chart. You can see the daily chart has this huge doji candle, where in that one day we went from $4 all the way up to 7 and then all the way back down. And I'm going to use this as an example of what we've been seeing in this market. I'll talk more about that in a second. But BVXV was on watch for a possible long over 485. But the thing is, as soon as the bell rang, it was halted on a circuit breaker. Got halted, it dropped down, then it spiked up. Not enough volume, it was just too choppy. So nothing on that one. Back to the scanner, GVO was on watch, recently did a reverse split. But the thing with GVO is that, I don't know, it's just been beaten up so much that anyone who's been holding for a long time is happy to get out on these spikes, and it often spikes up and then sells off. So that's kind of the thing we've been noticing on GVO is that lots of stocks spiking, lots of times it spikes up and sells off. So my watch list out of the gates today was GVO, possible long over $5, but I'm a little nervous about it. BVXV, possible long, also over $5, but again, I'm a little nervous about it. And then GLBS. Now, GLBS squeezed up on Friday, and then it was halted in the middle of the day, which is kind of unusual to have this happen, but it squeezed up and it was halted at 7:39. All right, now when it was halted, we were like, okay, how long is this going to be halted for? It ends up resuming after hours at 4:05 or 5:05. It resumed, sold off, from 7:39 all the way down to a low of 471, and then bounced up. So today I was watching and I was like, well, it might be interesting over, now this was before the market opened, over this level here of $6. Because I'm thinking if it can get over this level here, then we might be able to get a move back, curl back up towards $7. And if we get above 740, then we've got new highs and we could really open up again. Market opens and it sells off. Now when it starts to turn around here, this is when I said, okay, I'll jump in for a scalp. Now it squeezed up to 625 right here, and then it was halted on a circuit breaker. So when stocks squeeze up more than 10% in basically a 1-minute period, they can get halted for 5 minutes on a volatility pause. Now, if you guys aren't super familiar with that, you can go on YouTube. I've got a long video on that. I can also give you guys a link here in the chat room. Let me just find the page. Warrior circuit breaker halts. All right, so here's the link for those of you in the chat room. For those of you streaming, you can see right here, circuit breaker halts. All right. So this has a lot of info about what causes the halt, the different types of codes and stuff like that. And it is fairly complex. I mean, the reason, it's complex for a couple of reasons. One, the thresholds are different right at the open and right at the close. So that confuses things a little bit. Between 9:30 and 9:45, you've got a bigger threshold. And then the threshold is different on different price stocks and different tier stocks. So again, there's some variables here which makes it a little bit confusing, but something to be mindful of. And I've got a long video that really does explain the circuit breakers in quite a bit of detail. So you guys can check that out there. But in any case, GLBS squeezes up and is halted at 625. So when a stock squeezes up and is halted, what I do is I treat it almost like the high before the halt is like the high of day. And even if it's not the high of day, I treat it as though it's the high of day. So this was halted at 625. I like to buy over high of day. So if we open below 625, I would enter for the break of like pre-market highs, the break over 625. Now, in this case, we actually opened just a little bit higher. We opened at like, well, what did we open at? We opened at 630, all right? And then immediately we started to squeeze up towards 650. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get in this for the $0.50 break. I got in with 1,000 shares at 650, and it pops up to a high of 679. So immediately I was up $290. I was like, okay, this is good. Nice little winner here. But it came back down almost just as fast, and so I stopped out with only $91 profit. So a small winner on that one. And again, this is a stock that people are underwater on who have been holding from the 7s from Friday. So not surprising that it wasn't clean, but I decided to give it a chance because you never know. So that was GLBS. PTX, we'll talk about the best trade of the day last. PTX, this one was a great daily breakout. First candle to make a new high on the daily and quickly opened up. I got in this not really at the best place. I was getting in pretty high. I'll show you I bought on the 1 minute time frame on this one. And, I think it was fine where I got in. I was just going for a scalp, but the problem is that I only got a partial fill. So when I first saw it, it was consolidating right at this level here, which is 350, where that yellow line is. So 350 was where I was watching it, but I missed my entry there. It pops up to 372 and it pulls back. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll get in for the break over 372, which is kind of this second pullback right here. It's like a micro 1 minute pullback. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get in this here at 372. I got in at 368, but instead of filling my full order, I only got 100 shares. So I got in at 368. It pops up to 395. I sell my 100 shares for 19 cents of total profit, which is how I got $19. So, that's fine. Wasn't a big winner, obviously, but the setup was good. And with 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares, it would have been a pretty decent trade. All right, so now let's go to BNTC, which was today's big winner. So BNTC. So how did I trade this one? Well, you can see here, right out of the gates, this stock squeezed from 250 all the way up to 450. So really a parabolic move. Like I was showing you guys just a minute ago on BVXV, that stock that went from $3 to $7 and then all the way back down, this is another one of those stocks that really went parabolic. It went from 0 to 60 and then, it's just sort of fading off that level. I mean, it's in the 360s right now, so it's still up a fair amount, but we're not seeing these stocks holding their gains. Now, I did not have this one on my radar at all. I wasn't even watching it, didn't even know about it, but that's what my high-day momentum scanners are for. So these scanners are searching the market for any stock that's squeezing up. BNTC showed up on the scanner. I pulled up the chart and I was like, yep, this one has potential. So when it first came on the scanner, it was at $3.17 and it already had 220 or 250,000 shares of volume. The float was 6.18 million shares and the relative volume on the 5-minute time frame was 30,000 times higher than average, which is huge. That's why I have this in pink, because it catches my attention. And it was already up 71% on the day. So I was like, okay, clearly this stock is showing potential to be parabolic. So I'm going to just jump in. I put out my order. It's just squeezing up. So I was like, I'll get in at the $0.50, which is similar to what I did on GLBS. I'll get into the $0.50. And when I get in at the $0.50, I set my stop 10 cents below. So I get in at 350, stop is at 340. Now, I put my order at 357 as a limit order, and I got filled at 357, which was 7 cents higher than I wanted to really get filled at, but that's the thing with limit orders. Sometimes you get filled a little high. You're choosing the most you're willing to pay, and the most I was willing to pay was 357. That's what I got filled at. So 2,000 shares long at 357. It pops up to a high of 430, and I added through this squeeze at 399 or 398 for the $4 break. So it gave me an average in the 70s, and we pop up. We get that. Let's see, my average was about 74, 72, something like that. And we get this squeeze up to 430. Now, as it drops down, I was like, okay, I better take profit, and I sold that position around $4 at 390. So I wasn't able to sell in the 430s the way I wanted to. At the same time, I took 10,000 shares in my regular account at $4. Got in at $4 because I was like, this thing is strong. Now, I had to hold that through this dip here down to 44, which was fairly brutal, obviously. But I said, you know what, this is a strong stock. It's parabolic. I really think the first pullback is going to get bought up. So now, at that point, I was all out in my SureTrader account, but I was waiting for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high to get back in. So I got back in on this green candle right after that red candle. So I got back in at 370, and immediately we went up to $4. Immediately, I was up 30 cents. So I sold through that spike. We pulled back. I got back in right here at $4 and sold through that spike again, which that second spike was kind of a false breakout. It popped up and then pulled back, but between my first trade at 357, my second trade at 370, and my third trade at $4, between those three trades, I was able to make between $600 and $800 per trade. And that gave me a total profit of $2,429 before commissions. So, none of these trades were in my regular or in my small account really big size. And in my big account, as we got back up over $4, I sold into that squeeze and was able to get out with $700 profit. So I was happy to not have a loss in that account, but at the same time, I know I can handle losses in that account because I've got more size, or I've got a bigger account. If I do have a loss, it's not the worst thing in the world. The most important thing for me is to build the small account. And so one of the challenges is trying to trade in two accounts at once. And this is, not something that's easy to do. One is the focus and the other one, kind of takes the back burner. The annoying thing right now is that the one that takes the back burner is the one that I can take 10,000 shares on. Last year when I did this challenge, when I would do that, I would focus just on the big account because I had so much size and I really didn't want to take losses. And I think just over the course of 2016, I got more comfortable having losses, a little more confident in my skill and my strategy. And so at this point, I don't mind holding through the first pullback. I don't want to hold through the first pullback, but if I have to, I will. And so, today on this one, I held through the first pullback. And instead of getting panicked and selling into these drops, I wait for the first candle to make the new high. And in this case, that brought us right back to high a day. And in many cases, not only do we go to high a day, now we go up to $4.50 and maybe even $5. So that's when we start to see these really exponential moves. And it didn't happen to be the case on this one, but that strategy of buying into the squeeze and then buying the first pullback is solid. Holding through that first pullback is a little risky right now because some of these stocks, because they go 0 to 60, they just come all the way back down. And that's kind of the challenge right now. We've seen so many stocks in the last week, 2 weeks, be exceptionally strong. SGNL, NAKD, NVTR, APOP, BSPM, GVO, SKLN, Cool, CNAT. I mean, there's just been so many that have been doing this. It's made it hard for traders who want to focus just on the 5-minute chart. Because if you were just trading the 5-minute chart on BNTC, you don't have a single setup today. You don't. So you had to be aggressive. You had to get in on the 1 minute, get in, capture your profit, and then get out. And you have to be quick. This is a trade where literally in the first 15 minutes, in a period of 15 minutes, I was able to grow my account by 51%. So, many of these trades were as short as a minute long. Getting in for the breakout, looking for the break, either immediately getting it and being in the profit and selling half, or having it not work out the way I wanted and stopping out with a small profit. So this is kind of the the exciting time as my account's getting a little bit bigger and I can start to be a little bit more aggressive. Now tomorrow, 6,800 will be my starting balance, and remember in March of last year I made about 8,500. So that was 8,500 was the revised goal for the end of this month, and I think that I'm almost there. I mean, really, I'm only $2,000 away from breaking that goal, and I'm gonna see if I can get towards $10,000. If I can get to $10,000 in this first month, and I can do $15,000 next month, I'll have my $25,000 by March 1st. So we'll see. I'll take what the market's willing to give me, and today, even in the first few minutes before BNTC came up, at this point, at 9:35, 9:36, I had no trades. And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to trade today. If there's nothing to trade, I'm not going to trade. And, I didn't like FSFR. I didn't like PME. I didn't like NAK. And I was checked GVO, but it was selling off. So I was like, well, you know what? You don't have to trade today. You had a great week last week. So if there's no good setup, then don't touch the keys, just hands off. And then all of a sudden we had this setup and I was like, okay, that's the one, jump. You got to jump. And so having the intuition, educated intuition, it's educated. It's intuition that comes from years of trading and years of experience. Having that ability to see a setup, quickly do risk analysis, look at it and say, okay, this is a setup where if I risk 400, I could very likely make 800. And I only took 2,000 shares to start, but my stop was probably 20 cents, 15, 20 cents. Now that's a $400 loss if it had gone the wrong way. And that would have been losing 10% of my account because I'm at 4,500. So obviously I don't want to have a $400 loss, but from a risk reward standpoint, it makes sense, and I can afford that loss now. I couldn't afford that loss 2 weeks ago when I first started this account, but I can now. So 2 weeks ago was day one of this small account, and I started with $583. So this is the potential. I mean, again, I'll say it again and again, you don't need a lot of money to make money as a trader. Hopefully this month I'll be able to make $10,000 from a $500 starting balance. So it's not about having a lot of money, it's about having skill. That's all it is. It's just skill. And you could give me $583 and I really think that I can turn it into 100 grand within a year. Just, trade after trade, one trade at a time. Well, there's a process of building the account, lots of small trades as I've had in the last few weeks. Today is my best day of the small account. On Friday, I made $799. And on Thursday, I made $1,761. Thursday was the turning point. That was the big day. Before that, my best day was only $260. So it took a little, it took basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of gains between 124 and 260, relatively small gains, before I had built up my account to the size where once I saw the home run setup, I was able to take size and get a $900 winner. And that's how it started on Thursday. I took 2 trades and made $200 on both of them, so I was up 400. And then I took a third trade, 2,000 shares, and I made like 600. Or something like that. It was like, 2 small trades and then that third one, and boom, big step forward. So Thursday was a big step forward. Friday was a smaller step forward, $800. It was still my second best day of the year of this challenge, and now today is, and I'll mark it in the calendar, plus $22,310.09 in SureTrader, which makes this my best day of the year. Plus 724 in SpeedTrader, which is fine. So my SpeedTrader account started the year at 28,000, and I'm up to 41,500. So I'm building my way up there. And SureTrader started with 583 and I'm up to 6,800. So, building both of these accounts, the focus is the small one. I don't really have any hard set goals for what I want to do with the big account. Make some money, but I'm not trying to make as much as I made last year because I'm not focusing on that account primarily. So if I can make, I'm up $12,000 this month in that account. So if I can do that each month, in addition to the 100,000 with SureTrader, then that puts me, right at $200,000 again for 2017. We'll see. At a certain point, obviously, probably around March, I'll close down SureTrader and I will just be in SpeedTrader, and then I'll be able to focus 100% on that larger account. But I'll have to drop my balance back down to 25,000 when I do that, when I make that switch. All right. So, Henry, and I see your comment there about needing fast internet. You do need fast internet. These are quick opportunities, but this is what active traders are looking for. That's what day traders are looking for, short-term opportunities. And this is what I've been doing for years and years, looking for short-term opportunities. And I look for it on all price ranges, but I've always found that between $3 and $10, those are the stocks that are the most volatile. Those are the stocks that are most popular among retail traders, which is what all of us are for the most part. And so those are the ones that have the best resolution. Now, again, we talked about the importance of high relative volume. BNTC today has traded 6.5 million shares of volume. This will be probably one of the highest relative volume leaders of the day. And we got in it early because we have the right tools, because we have the scanners. So we get in early, we capture the profit, and then we get out of the way. Now, I had somebody ask me why in SureTrader, you can see here that it's showing my buying power is 37,000, even though my equity is only 4,500. Well, what SureTrader does is intraday, they adjust your buying power based on your profit or your loss. So if you lose money, if I lost $4,000, my buying power would go all the way down to 3,000. It would drop all the way down. And if I make $10,000, my buying power is going to go up, to 70,000 or whatever it is. So that buying power is adjusted intraday, which is different from, I don't think SpeedTrader does that, although I never look at my buying power at SpeedTrader, so I'm not 100% sure, but that is something they do over at SureTrader. All right, guys, so let me answer some of your questions here. I see you guys posting some questions. So let's see, let's go through and get some answers. And you guys can also call out symbols and I can look at stocks for you. All right, so cost per trade at SpeedTrader, Michael. For regular traders, just coming in, it's $4.95. For anyone that's part of the Warrior Trading community, it's $3.95. For our students who are part of the rebate program, it's $2.95. So $2.95 per trade is the lowest that our students have. All right. Saran asked how much money I trade with at the moment, and you can see here, equity $4,500. Buying power right now is 37,000. So 6 times leverage. Obviously, with a small amount of money, I'm able to leverage that to do big things, for better or for worse. Fortunately, so far it's been for better. All right. Mitch, yeah, I mean, I am trading bigger size in the regular account. 10,000 shares is pretty standard. So when I have a good day, I can make $5, 10, even $12,000 as I made last week or whatever that was. It was on what day was that? I did 12,000. That was on the 10th. That was a week ago today. So yeah, I am going to trade larger size in that account. But once I switch over to that being my small account, once I've made 25,000 or 26,000 and I move my money out of SureTrader, I'll put it in SpeedTrader. I'll reset SpeedTrader to that same amount, and then I'll just continue from that point forward. And I'll have to adjust my share size at the beginning to be a little more cautious. And hey, Joe, what's up? I saw you logging in there. So Colorado, to answer your question there, the broker I'm using is SureTrader. They are located in Nassau, in the Bahamas, and they don't enforce the PDT rule, which is why so many day traders are using them. It's just the reality that if I opened an account with Ameritrade, with E-Trade, with even SpeedTrader, I need that $25,000 minimum account balance. And because of that, it puts a lot of traders just immediately out of the game. I mean, if you don't have $25,000, you can't day trade. It seems crazy, The problem with that to me is that having that amount of money, this is kind of based on when the 1990s we had this, all these retail traders and getting into online trading, and a lot of people lost their shirts. And so to kind of protect uneducated traders from getting into the market and having leverage and all that stuff, they created this $25,000 minimum. A lot of people come in with $25,000, doesn't mean they're educated, doesn't mean they're less likely or more likely to make money or lose money. It really doesn't, but it's the rules. So, for those of us that are below that level, we either have to swing trade only 3 times a week, or use a broker like SureTrader. And so that's what I've been using. So it is a margin account. It's margin, and I've got 6 times leverage, which is fairly ridiculous. All right, let's see. So now that's a good comment, Sebastian. Intraday SureTrader is going to take steps to mitigate their risk as a broker. And so one of those steps is that if there's a stock that's extremely volatile, like BNTC, they're going to change the margin requirement on it. So some stocks have full 6-to-1 leverage, meaning you've got $1,000 and 6,000 in buying power, you can use the full 6,000. But then other stocks they reduce. Sometimes they reduce it to 2-to-1. Sometimes they reduce it to 1-to-1. BNTC is 2-to-1 right now. So last week when my account was only like $1,000, that meant I couldn't trade it at all. This week with $4,500, I could still buy 1,000 shares, maybe 1,500 shares, but I can't use much of my buying power. Sometimes not any of it. So, it's an inconvenience for us, but I understand why they do it. They do it to prevent traders from, blowing up their accounts, and they're on the hook for that in the short term. I mean, if you lose $10,000 and you only put in 2,000, I mean, they're on the hook. So they want to try to prevent that from happening. And Brian, yeah, what alerted me to BNTC was that it was on my high-day Momo scanner right here at 9:36. That's how I found it. It was thanks to this scanner. So once again, this scanner, having the right tools, it's paying the bills. All right, so let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. Robinhood, question about Robinhood. The problem with Robinhood is that it's a mobile app. To me, that's a problem. You don't have level 2. You can't really fully read the market. It's not a tool for active trading. It's not a tool for day trading. It's fine for swing trading, for investing. It's a great way to get millennials interested in the market. But in terms of being a real tool for day trading, it's just not. So I wouldn't use that personally. And Chad, I mean, yeah, the upfront cost to start trading, the primary cost really is not the account, and it's not the tools. Like there are some tools that will be helpful. Having these scanners. These scanners are $100 a month. These scanners are really helpful. Having something like good charts, that's important. That's going to be helpful. So scanners, charts, getting your broker account set up. But ultimately, you can see that money in terms of account size is not the most important thing. The most important thing is your education and your training. So, that's the primary cost getting started. Now, of course, I didn't spend any money on education. I did it all on my own, and that's why it took me 18 months. So then you've got to be able to pay for the cost of living for 18 months or whatever your learning curve is. And obviously the students, that we're working with, we're hoping that we're able to get them, into the market trading profitably much sooner, so they don't have to go through that long, drawn-out process that I had to go through. Michael, I mean, I use a margin account. The problem with a cash account is that you have to wait 3 days for trades to settle. So, if you buy and sell a stock today, you can't trade that money again for 3 days. And that means, you just sit and watch other setups go by and you can't participate. So that's why we usually would use a margin account. But at the same time, margin accounts require $25,000 minimum if you're going to day trade. So it's like, this is where, beginner traders kind of get into a pinch. So, for myself, it certainly made a lot of sense to go and fund this $500 account with SureTrader. You know what? I'm putting $500 out there. If I can grow it, that's awesome. If I blow up the account, well, it's $500 and it's a learning experience. $500, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it just made sense to do that. And now my account's growing and I'm able to sort of, get the wind, behind my sails and really get some momentum. So I think it makes more sense to, if you're going to really try to trade an account where you can have margin and where you can be aggressive. So with margin accounts, you don't have to wait. Ethan. So, as soon as you sell, your margin is back. So 37,000 in buying power. If I buy $37,000 of stock, my buying power will go to zero. As soon as I sell it, it goes right back to 37,000. So it's just like, it's just constantly there, which is awesome. That's what allows us to be, so aggressive. And Patrick, 51% is my total gain on the day, trading 3 stocks. I made about, 48% on BNTC on 3 total trades. I thought it was 4, but maybe it was only 3. And then another $110 on 2 other stocks. And Josh, yeah, I think you probably saw my comment there on Robinhood. Great for swing trading because there's 0 commissions, which is awesome. But what I kind of feel like they did is they sacrificed features that should be standard on every broker in order to give you free commissions. So what did they sacrifice? Well, you don't have level 2. That's a problem. Not having level 2 data means you can't see market depth. And you can't see when there's a 50,000 share seller trying to unload a position, or when there's a 200,000 share buyer trying to take a large position. So as an active trader, it's like trading with one eye closed, or it's just you're so limited it just doesn't make sense. But for swing trades, for long-term positions that where you don't need level 2, it's a great tool. It just kind of depends on your situation, your strategy, and that sort of thing. And that's why the right tools for me might not be the right tools for you. But if you want to be an active trader like myself, then we would probably both be using the same tools. All right, so let's see. So we can check on students here. I'm going to move this over. Check on students in the simulator, see where they're at for today. And Sergio, yeah, I mean, the number one thing for every trader is risk management. That's it. It all comes down to risk management. Can you manage your risk? And so on all of my trades, here in the last couple of weeks, I've been keeping my risk very minimal, knowing that I can't afford to have a loss. So I'll risk, 200 here and now as high as 400 on this one trade. I am getting a little bit more aggressive as I get further into the challenge, but I'm still always being mindful of risk. And that's one of the ways I mitigate risk is only trading in the first 2 hours of the day. I know that that's when I have peak performance. That's when I make the most money. That's when trading is the easiest for me. So that's the time for me to get in there. It's like, it's almost like I want to just get in there, work as hard as I possibly can and then get out, be done with it. So that for me works really well. And that's what I've been doing, for this Sure Trader Challenge. So for students who are in the simulator, we've got, let's see, this morning, 306 in the simulator. And, you've got a mix of red and green as you'd expect from beginner traders. Today's a day where you've got about 2/3 that are red and about 1/3 that are green. So this shows, that these are students kind of, at various points in their journey. Some of them are in our classes, some of them aren't, working through trying to figure out how to manage risk on every trade, how to trade smarter, how to trade better, how to get into the strong stocks at the right setup. And this is all practice. This is what you need to do. You got to practice to get to the point where you can, start doing this with real money. It's not something that you can just, I know this looks easy, but it is the result of a lot of hard work. That's what it took for me to get to where I am now. Ryan, I haven't pulled any money out of my Sure Trader account yet. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. If I might just, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. If I'll just let it build up to 26,000 and then take it all out and move it all over to Speed Trader. I think that's probably going to be the easiest thing. I think it's going to be easy for a number of reasons, but I know that people, if they're like, they see that I had, let's say I draw out $5,000 at the end of a good week, and then my account goes down. People will say, oh, it looks like you lost money. You must have had a big loss. Or at the end of the challenge, I go from having a $7,000 account to having 25,000 in Speed Trader. People are, oh, well, why'd you trade? How it doesn't make sense? Doesn't add up. What did he do? So just to make it super clear for everybody, make it easy, I'll probably just leave the money there till it's 26,000, and then transfer it all to Speed Trader. Obviously, if I was trading, if I was really, starting with an account this small, I would probably need to take money out to pay bills, and maybe that would slow down the rate that I could grow a small account. But I can't. I mean, there's so many variables. I can't. It's hard to hit them all. Yeah, and Milestone, all of our students that are in the Warrior Pro classes have access to these scanner settings, and they have them for life. Now, these scanners are run inside Trade Ideas, and we work closely with Dan Merkin, the CEO of Trade Ideas, to make sure we have some custom layouts specific for their platform, because so many of our students are trading there. So, yeah, as soon as you sign up and watch, I think it's class 9 where I give you all of my scanner settings and show you how to use them. So Mitch, I'll give you the link for Speed Trader for the commission there. We have a broker rebate program. We have that with Speed Trader, Sure Trader, and Lightspeed. And that broker rebate program means that they'll reimburse you for the cost of your education. So if you spend $2,000 on education, they'll give you a $2,000 credit that will come off of commissions. So every trade you take, you have reduced commissions until you've recouped the total cost of your education, which is awesome. I mean, even right now, let's just say there was like, let's say I wanted to learn like Forex or something like that, and they're like, oh yeah, this Forex broker will give you 100% rebate on your class. I'd be like, that's awesome. I sign up for the class, I take the class, and then just through trading, I know I'll get my cost repaid, just one trade at a time over the next few months. So let's see. I'll give you the link here. I'm just finding it on Google. Speed Trader rebate. All right, there you go. And Daniel, you said the ECN fees you feel like are misleading. And this is an interesting thing. You've got ECN fees with Speed Trader, with Lightspeed, with Sure Trader, with Interactive Brokers, and you could say they're a little bit of a surprise to some traders who sign up thinking that it's going to be $4.95 per trade and that's it, that there's no fees, but these fees exist. They don't exist with E-Trade or Ameritrade, and so a lot of traders who go from trading with one of those places to one of these find it as a surprise. I know I did when I first got started, but they give you the discount commission, and then they charge you the ECN fee, which is kind of a pass-through charge that's going to the exchanges and stuff like that. So it is what it is. You kind of have to budget for it. Today, my ECN fees are $78 in Sure Trader, and my commissions are $148. So commissions are on the high side today, and that's just part of the deal. It's not a lot you can do about it, unfortunately. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to call it a day, and I will see you all first thing tomorrow morning. All right. Thanks, guys.
Let's be honest. If you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed that video. So what's stopping you? Subscribe right here and get email alerts anytime I upload new content. Until then, happy surfing!